Get your hands off me!
Should I assume that there's trouble in paradise?
Oh, you bet there is. Your brother slept with Eva Vitale while I was in prison.
Oh, do I? A million times it meant nothing.
Don't worry, Melinda. I'm going to take good care of you. Lee and I both are.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel where I will be doing another episode recap for today's Days of Our Lives, August 22, 2024. So in the first scene, we see Julie and Chad is back, right? So Chad just coming back from dropping off Jennifer and Jack at the airport, right? Because remember, they said that it was just gonna give Abigail some time to remember and all of that, given the fiasco that happened between Jennifer and Abigail, right? So anyways, Julie checks in with him, and Julie's like, Doug filled me in on what happened between the two of them, and Chad was like, it wasn't just awkward, it was a fiasco, and we all agreed to just give Abigail some time to remember everybody, right? So Julie is like, I heard about Abigail, I heard about Jack and Jennifer, but how are you taking it all? And he's like, I'm just taking it day by day. I don't really know how to feel yet because she doesn't have her memories and she doesn't really look the same, so it's a lot to process. So she's like, I am there for all of you, whatever you need, I am here, right? So anyways, we go on to the next scene. So Abigail, or whatever this lady name, she's on the phone again with her accomplice, saying that she's taking care of two people, meaning Jack and Jennifer. They're out of the picture, so now she just have to worry about Chad and maybe the children, whatever it is, to buy whatever act she has going on, right? So at this time, EJ comes in and she's a little bit startled, right? So he's like, Abigail, is this you? So she's like, yeah, so they say, who are you? So he introduces himself as EJ the Mayor, one of Chad's other brothers. So he's like, I thought he only had one brother, Stefan. So he's like, no, I'm the other one. So she's like, did we have a good relationship? So I don't know what possessed EJ to just proceed to just have diarrhea of the mouth and tell her that, she and Stefan had a really complicated relationship and he take advantage of her, and she had an affair on Chad, but it wasn't her fault, it was Stefan's fault, for acting with impulse and all that. So then she is like, do we have a good relationship? He at first he was telling her about how he's not really fond of Stefan or Gabby at this point, and neither are they. And then he begins to tell her about what happened between him and them, and the whole Nicole fiasco, right? So she's like, sounds like you were more moronic. So he's like, if I could remember, you didn't really have a low opinion of me. So she's like, how so? So he begins to tell her about Asian history when she actually had an affair with him while he was engaged to Stammy. And so she's like, oh my gosh, I really do get around, right? So at this time, Chad comes in and he's like, what's going on? So Abigail was like, I'm just getting to know your other brother EJ, and turns out I really do get around in this family, like two brothers. So he's like, what's going on? So he's like, EJ's like, I'm sorry, it just came out. So she's like, you know what? I think I gotta throw up. So she just ran out of there, and Chad is looking at EJ like, why would you do that? Like, he starts shaking his head like, why would you do that, you idiot? And EJ was like, well, she had to know at some point. And I'm like saying, they always treat Abigail back in the past as this delicate, perfect flower. She didn't do anything wrong, but she was just as messy as Nicole and Sammy and the rest of them. She could hang with them because she was no saint, and they act as if she's holier than thou, self-righteous, all morals and all that. She was just as loose as the rest of them. But they, let me not get into it, because a lot of Abigail, she got a lot of devoted fans too. So while this is happening, Ava goes to the pub, she's just having, some coffee or something like that. Roman comes over and he's like, hard day at work, and she's like, you just don't even know the half of it. So she's like, I'm fired. So he's like, I know it's tough working for Kristen the Mayor, having her do, having you do certain tasks for and all that. It can be challenging, but like, why you got fired so early? So she's like, it's not even that. It's just the working personalities that are at the business. So he's like, elaborate more. So I don't know. Roman is just here for all the tea, and I'm here for it. So, anyways, she tells him that, you know, she and Gabby don't really get along, and it's because she had an affair with her husband, and it came out. So she, you know, he's like, how did it even came out? So she's like, her assistant Connie, you know, overheard me and Kristen, and I know I am to blame for that being blurted out. Yeah, you are. So yeah, Connie told her, and then that's how we got found out, and then, you know, Gabby was threatening to take her business elsewhere, and that's how Kristen had to fire me. So, you know, he's like, I thought you and Kristen were best friends, and she's like, I thought we were too, but I guess business just comes first and all that, right? So she began to talk more about her relationship with Harris and how she wished that, you know, it really worked out, and she was just lonely, and Stefan was lonely, but it was just one time, and, you know, they really regretted it. They just wanted to bring it to their graves and all that, right? So she's like, I know you think low of me and all that. You could tell me that, you know, you told me so and all that. So he's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Like, all of us fall short at some point, and I'm not about to judge you. So it was a really good conversation between the two of them. So we see Gabby at the office because she didn't go home. She was serious. So she was on the phone with a supplier, and the supplier didn't come through, and she was about to fire him. And, you know, Stefan walks in, and she's like, nobody really knows nothing about me being loyal, and, you know, I just get disappointed all the time. And she's just hinting more to him. So anyway, she hangs up the phone, and she decides to call security, you know, to take Stefan out. So Stefan is like, you don't want to do this. Like, this is not necessary, right? So she's like, you know what? I'll handle it, you know. He's not threatening. So she hangs up the phone, and he again pleads his case. And he's like, I just want to see you. So she's like, you see me. What else do you want? So it's like, it's not just to see her. I just think we need to talk. And he apologizes yet again. He's groveling. Like he said, it's just one time. He was at a messed up state. You know, he's sorry for what he did, and he really wants them to work on things. And even though she can't forgive him at first, you know, he's just hoping that they can work on their marriage. So he's asking her to come home, and she's like, it looked like she bought it, and I thought she bought it, and she's like, yeah, I'll come home. So he begins to talk more, and he's appreciative, but then she's like, you know what, stop all this, because I'm getting bored of this. I'm coming home to pack my things and leave. So she ran out there, and he's just there emotional and all that. So we see EJ, and he's having a drink, and then he hears all the commotion. Gabby and Stefan coming in. He's like, oh, what's going on? So trouble in paradise. So she's like, you're right about that. Like, your brother cheated on me with Ava Vitalia, and EJ is just ecstatic about this, because he's like, you know, this is what I needed to see. You guys blew up my life. I'm just happy to see this be imploded and all that. So, you know, he's like, it was one time, I regret it, and you're like, you know, just stay here. And she's like, no, I'm gonna pack up my things and go. And EJ just is, you know, just wanting Gabby to leave like the other day. So he's like, you know, yeah, when you pack up your things, just let me know so that I can inform the housekeepers to change the locks, and so, you know, we don't have any more convicts or any other unscrupulous people coming in. So Stefan is telling him, you know, he needs to shut up and all of that, and he's getting more angry, and he's like, you know, you shouldn't be mad at me, like, and he's like, you need to leave. And he's like, I'm not going nowhere, I'm staying right here. So, you know, Gabby needs to leave, and Gabby just decides to change her mind, like, nah, I'm not leaving. So that's where we leave them, right? But listen, I'm happy to see EJ back. It's been a while, and I know he should have been the one to actually find out this truth about Stefan's affair, because, you know, they blow his life up. Like, you know, he should have been the one to, like, relish this ammunition, not Connie. So while this is going on, Chad goes upstairs to check on Abigail, and he's like, you don't have to stay in this room if you want. So she's like, you know what, I want to stay in this room to kind of see if I can get back my memories of me, of you and I. So I'd like to stay if that's no problem. And he's like, yeah, it's fine. So we go back to Crazy Connie, and she is back from the hardware store with bleach and some other things to get rid of Melinda's body, right? So before she thought about doing that, she thinks, okay, how am I gonna you know, maybe I need to just use a knife or a hacksaw to slit her throat. You know, this will all be, you know, better. So, you know, Melinda is still half conscious, and she's surprised because like, how can this be? Because she gave her a strong dosage of the drug and that killed Everett and Bobby. And she's like, maybe she didn't drink the tea or something like that. So then her delusion of Lee was there, and Lee was telling her, don't do that. You don't want another body on your hands. And she's like, I really don't want her to wake up and like tell the cops that I defrauded a resume and all that, right? So she's like, are you still in love with her and blah, blah, blah. So it was just a really silly conversation. But anyways, Lee's like, you know what, let's come up with a better idea, right? And all in this, I'm saying Ava saw a missed call from Melinda, and Ava doesn't think that she needs to check in on Melinda, like go up to the apartment where Connie is and like try to see if she's there, because like this is just strange, right? So they come up with the idea to have Melinda tied up, and Melinda starts to wake up and she's like, where am I? Like, and then Connie is there like, don't worry, Melinda, Lee and I are there to take care of you. So she has this cut up board version of Lee there, and they're just there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is she going to do to Melinda? So I don't know, but Ava, like, has anybody noticed that Ava's been more lightheaded these past couple of months? Like, she's not the old Ava Vitale that we know and love. Like, it's getting annoying. But anyways, guys, tell me your thoughts on today's episode. Did you think, when are they going to find out about Abigail? Like, do you think Gabby's really going to leave Stefan? Let me know. I will see you guys tomorrow for an all-new recap. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.